Good morning, everybody. This is Candace. We are having our first meeting of 2021. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Great, good. So this is our Tourism Visitor Advisory Committee dated Tuesday, January the 19th, 2021, beginning at 8:15 a.m. I have the roll to be called. I see a couple call-in users that I'll ask to identify themselves. Ashley Lynch, are you here?
I'm here.
Julie Blaylock? Ron Pinchuk?
Present.
Jeannie Stowe?
Here.
Wendy Robinson?
Here.
Trent Walker? Trent Walker does not seem to be here. Amit Patel?
I'm here.
Alex Bhakta? Alex Bhakta does not seem to be here. Michael
I'm
Bellamy?
here.
Oh, okay, there's Alex Bhakta. Michael Bellamy?
Michael Bellamy here.
Okay, and for Farragut Business Alliance, I always ask the users to identify themselves. Is that the same way that the Tourism Advisory Committee requests?
Yes, Candace, I need to read a statement to get started. So let me go ahead and
Okay.
do that. Okay. This is the January 19th, 2021 meeting of the Farragut Tourism Visitor Advisory Committee. This meeting is being held virtually as authorized by Governor Lee's executive order regarding the COVID-19 pandemic and can be viewed live on the Town of Farragut's YouTube channel, Charter Channel 193, TDS Channel 3, and at www.townoffarragut.org/livestream. We have already proceeded with our roll call vote of our committee members present. Do we have additional town staff on this phone call? And can you please identify yourself?
Yes, I'm Carissa Oinby, and I am the Media and Tourism Assistant.
And Sue Stool, Parks and Recreation Director.
And I'm Karen Tyndall, the Tourism Coordinator.
Mayor Williams, I'm on the call.
And Trevor Hobbs, I'm the Assistant to the Town Administrator and Business Liaison.
Great. And then do we have any members of the media on the phone call this morning? And if we do, can you please identify yourself and the media outlet you're representing?
Hi, this is Michelle Hollandhead. I'm with the Farragut Press.
Morning, Michelle. Do we have any additional guests on the phone call this morning? If we do, please identify yourself. All right, so it doesn't sound like it. So thank you, everybody. I'd like to remind you, as we move through the meeting, please mute your microphone to limit background noise. When you're ready to speak, please unmute your microphone and state your full name before speaking. When finished speaking, please put your microphone back on mute. I will now turn the meeting over to Committee Chair Candace Vioxx. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I'm assuming that everybody was able to get the information from the committee board for the minutes. Did everybody have an opportunity to look over the minutes? Does anybody have any concerns or issues with any of the minutes at this time? Please let us know. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion.
I'll second.
Who said the motion first? I'm sorry, I didn't get the name.
Alex.
Okay, Alex made the motion to accept the minutes and Sue seconded the minutes approval. Next, we have our tourism coordinator report from Karen. Oh, approval to accept the minutes is accepted. Sorry.
All right, this is Karen. Everybody can hear me? Hopefully, I sent out the packet. I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, but hopefully you've had a chance to review the tourism coordinator report, and I'll just go over that with you. I did it in slide format this time, so just to make it kind of easier to go over page by page since this was a virtual meeting. So if you open it up, we always start with our hotel report. I was hoping to have our December numbers in time for this meeting because I usually get them on the 17th, but I don't. So you'll see the December line is blank, but you can see the occupancy for September, October, November, ADR and the change from 2020 to 2020 and 2019 numbers as reported by our STAR reports. So again, that is what is reported from all 9 hotels altogether. So it may look different at different properties. So again, you'll see, obviously, COVID-19 had a negative impact, across the industry worldwide. So numbers are lower than expected, or much lower in 2020 than they were in 2019. Occupancy was down in September, negative 18.3% in our 9 hotels. In October, negative 17.5%, and in November, negative 26.4%. That was the, I'm sorry, percent change from 2019, and ADR set the 3rd column there too. So again, I was hoping to have the December numbers in to see what that may have looked like. We'll continue to keep our STR subscription and continue to report on our hotel numbers. I don't know if our hotel partners have any insight on how they might feel the spring might be coming up, or how the holiday season was that they want to share this morning. I don't know, Alex and Amit, do you have anything you want to add to that?
This is Alex. Everything is up in the air right now still. We still don't see any sort of light at the end of the tunnel. From what we've heard from a lot of the channels such as Star and stuff like that, the rebound's going to take a little bit longer than what everybody expects. So I don't see anything. Spring's not going to make a difference to us, I don't think, right now. We hope it will, but at this point, can't tell.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to page 2 of the report. All 9 properties, you'll see a picture of the branded hotel masks and the Farragut quarterly happenings. All 9 hotels received those branded hotel masks. That was part of the CARES Act DMO money we received. Those were all distributed in December. And Friday and just yesterday, everyone received the new Farragut quarterly happenings. So that is our 3-month brochure with specials, restaurant specials, just anything that's happening around town, specials, brunches, things that people would like to, get out and do, the guests would like to get out and do. And I was really happy to see when I was dropping them off yesterday, they were on the blue ones, the last quarter ones. Most of them were sitting on the front desk. It's nice to see those out, and it was great to talk to the front desk staff at the hotels yesterday, and everyone really seemed to like Baxter the friendly dog on the new brochure. So we've got that January to March. We'll look at a nice spring picture, and hopefully that second quarter of the year, maybe we'll have some fun events. Let's hope COVID numbers start decreasing and we can start having some more fun events in town, and get people, out and about having a good time again. So moving on, we were on a call with Visit Knoxville, and they mentioned the Longwoods travel sentiment study, and so I included some of the information from that. 63%, so this study was a sample of 1,000 adults over the age of 18. It was done on January 6th, and Longwoods does these studies pretty much every week. They do a survey just to see how people are feeling about traveling in the age of COVID. So it was good to know that 63% of travelers are now planning something within the next 6 months. Like Alex said, the industry is not really seeing light at the end of the tunnel, but at least people are starting to think about travel within the next 6 months. So, whether that be the vaccine, or maybe they're looking for an area of the country where numbers are going down, or they just are missing their family so much they've got to get there. People are starting to think about travel, so that's a good sign. 26% of travelers, their first trip will be by car. We've seen that since the beginning of the pandemic. People are more trusted of road trips than traveling by plane or other ways. And so they're looking to travel within 200 miles in the U.S. 15% are looking to travel a greater distance than 200 miles. So they're looking for those short trips. And only 9% of the people surveyed had no travel plans for 2021. So that's a good indicator that maybe people are looking to get out of their house a little bit and start testing the waters. So what does that mean? Is the glass half full or half empty? So 41% support opening up their communities to visitors. When the pandemic first hit, there was a real push in communities where they were like, we don't want visitors in our community. And so a lot of tourism marketing, there was a lot of negative feel about tourism marketing. And now people are saying, no, we feel good about having people come back in our community. So 41% are feeling good about opening up their community to visitors. 46% of people surveyed feel safe traveling outside of their communities. So again, that feeling of they're kind of ready to step outside their box. 47%, and this is good for our restaurant partners, they feel safe dining in local restaurants and shopping in our retail community stores. So people are starting to maybe get a little weary of the curbside and maybe a little more trusting of going in to a restaurant and into a store, and want to have that experience again. So that's good news, I think, for our restaurant and our retail partners. And then I think, when people have been working from home and cooped up at home and doing everything virtually, 27% have interacted with short online travel videos on YouTube and Facebook. And we've definitely seen the social media explosion of people just really craving, the really short, the 30-second, the 20-second videos that just give you a slice of what you could expect in a community. So moving over, I always report on our social media platforms. The Visit Farragut Facebook page followers increased 30% from November 11th through January 12th. And the Visit Farragut Instagram followers increased 5.89% from November during that same time period. So again, that's very good growth for the social media platforms. And then flipping to the next page, the first quarter campaign for this year. We touched on this at the last TVAC meeting, but it is History Hops and Hometown Feels. That is what we chose as the state campaign. So our social media focus, both organic and paid, for the first quarter of the year is History Hops and Hometown Feels. That you'll see focused advertising in the Tennessee State Visitors Guide. Now that state guide has been delayed on the state level. We've had no control over that. They have delayed the release of that guide, but you'll see the advertising in the state guide, the Visit Knoxville guide, which is expected out at the end of January or the very first week of February. And then we will also focus on our outdoor activities as we move into spring. So you'll see a lot of the Visit Farragut advertising focused on History Hops and Hometown Feels. We're already working on the campaign of that. And then kind of the last page in the coordinator report is new kids in town. We have opened Mayor McGill Plaza at the Campbell Station Inn. If you didn't get there when it was when it had the Christmas lights, you need to get there now. It really is beautiful to walk around. It's a little peaceful place to walk. It's really nice. Interpretive signage is available. A lot of really interesting history to read as you walk through there. Just a really nice kind of slice of in the middle of Farragut. So I really encourage you to check out the plaza if you haven't been. There's also a picture of 35 North. That's significant because it's kind of, Farragut always had a bad rap for food truck parks, and 35 North figured out a way to wrap food truck parks into a kind of trendy bar. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And it was my fault. I forgot to put the picture of a new business called Brickhouse Collectibles. It is in West End Center, and it is a cool collectible shop, sports cards, like baseball, football, and Legos and games and all kinds of things in there from little kids on up to big kids who are into all kinds of STEM education type things. So Brickhouse Collectibles, Carissa and I had a chance to go there on Friday and check it out. Great owner and a great store in Farragut. So, and then one that is coming right around the corner is Euphoric Cheese Shop is opening, and people are really excited about having a cheese shop in Farragut. It'll be a female-owned business, and we'll be excited to see them open. So that's the coordinator report for January 19. Does anyone have any questions I can answer? All right, Candace, I think you can take back over. Did we lose Candace?
Candace may need to unmute.
Not sure if we lost her.
She's still muted.
I've sent her a request to unmute, so I don't know if she's doing something else or maybe if her computer has died and she's getting on her phone, as she said. Karen, you want to go ahead and just move to the next agenda item?
Sure. So the next agenda item is Wendy Robinson is going to give us a quick update on where we stand on the RFQ process. So Wendy, if you can unmute yourself, we'd love to hear about that.
All right, thank you, Karen. So in our last meeting, we had let everyone know that we had narrowed our RFQ down to a handful of firms, and we had some additional questions for them. So we did get those answers back, and we went through them again, and we narrowed them down actually to 2 firms, which we ended up having really good Zoom calls with both of them, and we asked for references from both of them as well. We really did feel that either firm would do a good job for us, but we decided to start off with the path of one that we felt we could really grow with a little bit more and do some future projects with. So at this time, we have started kind of working through a contract, and hope to be able to propose that to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen soon. So we think we're very close of getting this nailed down and being able to bring that proposal forward. So anybody have any questions right now? All right, well, Karen, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Wendy. It looks like, so we're at the wrap up to Lake the Park report.
Yes, Candace, sorry.
We thought we lost you, Candace.
You did. I knew my computer was on its way out the door. I am so sorry. Thank you for that tourism report. Are we on the update now with Wendy?
Wendy just finished the update, and so we were going to move on to the Light the Park wrap up.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, so again, I sent out the wrap up report to everyone. So if you've got that, we can go through it. I hope that there's nobody on the call that did not see the lights, because they were hard to miss this year. You know, it was 6 weeks of wonder. I'll go through this report quickly. We had a calendar of giveaways. I can't say enough about the Parks and Rec staff. They worked so hard to make sure that every night there was we just did a great job, kind of flipping the switch on COVID and coming up with ways to safely have an event that people could really enjoy the holidays. There were so many communities that really kind of shut down the holidays, and so it was really nice that we were able to do it. So we had a calendar that was on the Visit Farragut page, where people could go and see each night what kind of giveaways there were. The Parks and Rec and the Arts and Beautification Committee, they each volunteered on 2 different nights. 45 time slots were filled with town businesses, so it was great exposure for our businesses or groups. They participated in the giveaways. 7 town groups participated in caroling. And then we also had permission to display 3 books in a storybook trail. So that supported physical activity for families. It got people in the park during the daytime to read books. And it was just a really great activity for families to do together. And I know Brittany has already gotten a couple phone calls from other organizations that saw the storybook trail and wanted information on how they could replicate that in their community. So it's great when you know, Farragut can be out there and be a leader in something like that. So if you flip to the next page, I put Santa got some mail, and I'm telling you, Santa got some mail in 2020. In 2019, Farragut Santa's mailbox got a total of 844 letters. And in 2020, excuse me, Santa's mailbox got 1,764 letters. That is just amazing, the number of letters they got. The breakdown, 32.2% of the letters were from the Farragut zip code. 65.4% of the letters were from zip codes outside of Tennessee, or outside of Farragut, so somewhere else in Tennessee. And those ranged from, you know, Cedar Bluff, they could have, you know, been right outside some other West Knoxville, from Jackson City or Johnson City to Jackson, Tennessee. So all over the state, kids were putting mail in Santa's mailbox. And 2.3% of the letters were out-of-state zip codes. Places like Kentucky, Louisiana, South Carolina, Florida, you can see the states there. So people really enjoy Santa's mailbox. And we have a dedicated team of elves, including Mrs. Pinchok is one of the elves that answers the letters each year. So we just really appreciate everybody that puts their time behind Santa's mailbox, setting it up every year, answering those letters. I know my grandson put a letter in, and it was super fun to see him get his letter back and know that he was on the nice list. The next page is just, we did a Farragut Shines, just connected to our social media. So this is user-generated content. So those are pictures, just some of the pictures that people used our hashtag Farragut Shines 2020 and shared with us. So anytime you can get user-generated content, it's just great. That gets shared over and over again and gets your community name out there and gets people thinking, about your event. So I just kind of wanted to share some of those, that the beautiful bridge that Bud's crew built, Santa's mailbox is always a popular spot for pictures. And we got tons of pictures of dogs loving Light the Park. So I kind of did a little breakdown of next page is Visit Farragut. Everything that about the event, we drove to visitfarragut.org, the website. So we saw site sessions increased by 158% and unique visitors 144%. So a lot of people were using the website, probably to make sure that they knew what giveaways they could go get. What night were cookies, what night they could go see caroling or go listen to caroling. And the top referral site is no surprise, it was Facebook. Followed right on down with Tennessee Vacation being the lowest site. So, and you can kind of see that graph there over time. You can see how, the excitement of the event is, when it started in November, and then, kind of after Christmas, everything kind of dwindled on the website. But that's kind of how it goes in a long event like that. So just wanted to give you a little picture of that. If you flip over to the next page, I wanted to let you see where the website visitors came from. Website visitors were from 37 states and the District of Columbia, 128 different Tennessee cities, 78 different North Carolina cities, 63 different Georgia cities, and 12 foreign countries. Go figure that. But, so we do know there was a big cluster of people around us. Again, that kind of goes back to the drive market. Where can we go? What's close? What can we do this weekend? Those kind of things. So I think that was reflected by the website, the type of visitors. And I think when you have a spectacular event like that, that continues to grow year over year, people, they may have looked at the website this year and maybe they, weren't able to come this year, but hopefully they're going to remember it and go, hey, I want to go see that next year. If we're on our way to X next year, let's stop in Farragut and check out those lights because that just looked fantastic. So, those are the kind of things that we want to just keep building on. That momentum will help us continue to bring visitors to town year over year. If you flip over, a big surprise of the CARES Act DMO money was we were able to do, the state did For the Love of Tennessee. And if you watched TV or traveled throughout the region, you probably saw For the Love of Tennessee commercials on TV or billboards or magazine ads or window clings. They were everywhere. For the Love of Tennessee. Then Visit Knoxville did For the Love of Knoxville. We were able to do a full video shoot in partnership with Visit Knoxville For the Love of Farragut, Travel Safe Tennessee commercial. It was shot on December 1st. We featured the Campbell Station Inn for history. We kind of went with history, hops, and hometown feels. So we did Campbell Station Inn, and we used the bar and seasons to do our hops, and we used Apple Cake Tea Room for hometown feels, and we used our wonderful Betty Newby really to capture our hometown feels. So if you haven't seen that commercial, you can press the link in the PowerPoint, and that commercial will play for you. But so we were able to shoot that commercial with the help of Visit Knoxville. It totally complemented Visit Knoxville's campaign. So everyone who saw Visit Knoxville's commercial was immediately hit with the 30-second Visit Farragut commercial. So they were played together in coordination with each other. We were able to work a significant media buy with Visit Knoxville for the time period December 15th through December 30th in 11 major drive markets. And those commercials partnered together were viewed nearly 500,000 times. So that brings brand awareness. Now people, when they, think of Visit Knoxville, which is such a huge, kind of juggernaut in the area, hopefully Visit Farragut is dancing around in their head as well. So, the value of a good partnership is going to stay with us, hopefully for years to come. And I think I think that is something that is going to really serve us well over the next little bit. We've really, that being able to shoot that 30-second commercial with Visit Knoxville has really helped us develop a good relationship with not only Kim Bumpus with Visit Knoxville, but her marketing department and her sales department. They've really been reaching out right and left, and they're going to actually be coming here to Farragut either at the end of February or beginning of March. We're trying to come up with we're working our schedules together, and we're going to do a little fam tour with the Visit Knoxville team of Farragut. So they're making sure that they are also helping promote Farragut as well with what they do. So that is a win-win for both of us. And then if you flip in the page, it said expansion was brought to you by, much of the 2020 Light the Park expansion was brought to you by the CARES Act DMO funding program. That was extensive paperwork, and it really took an army of people. I can't say enough about Bud's crew, not only putting up all the lights and taking down all the lights, but his team really making sure that they gave me every receipt and really provided all the paperwork that was necessary. And then our team making sure we had every receipt that was necessary and tracking down every receipt and check. So it was a major paperwork, teamwork effort to get that done. Everything was submitted and approved, and we're expecting a total reimbursement of that of $61,252.20. And that will come through Visit Knoxville, because all that money came through Visit Knoxville's state funding for the DMO program. And then just talking about Light the Park 2021, just to let you know, the staff is already planning, how can we improve on the 2020 event? And then I was just thinking about TVAC and opportunities for the committee to become involved. One thing that would be great is to have committee members participate in intercept interviews. We do know visitors are at the park, so it would be nice to have some TVAC members volunteer on weekend nights to be at the park and talk to our visitors. Simple survey, what are you doing in Farragut? Maybe how much are you spending? Where are you staying? Just very simple questions. And TVAC, it would also give you an opportunity to coordinate with businesses to get them more involved in that multi-week event. So we can talk about that as we move into, further into this year. But I think Light the Park is a perfect opportunity for the tourism committee to get more involved with town events. So that is kind of Light the Park wrap up. Does anybody have any questions I can answer for you?
This is Alderman Pinchuk. A couple of things. First of all, I want to thank Sue and Karen, you and the rest of the staff for what a wonderful job you all have done with Light the Park and all of the other promotions for the town in general. I do have a question as to our spending, our budgets, and how we're spending the money. This is not just about Light the Park, but do we have any breakdown of we're spending more money on audio or print or, and I'd also like to know maybe how the billboards went over and if we anticipate doing that in the future. But is there any kind of breakdown on how we're spending our money on advertising?
I mean, I can give you a report of it. I can break it all down. Most of the spending has been social media spending. Most of the large spending, Ron, has been both, had been, remember earlier this year, both of the billboard spends, the large spends, had either been that open for business, which was that special assignment, which wasn't tourism, or the CARES Act DMO. So the CARES Act DMO will all be reimbursed, and the other was the open doors, which was that special assignment you guys, that the board has signed. So, but I can definitely give you everything. I would say the biggest tourism spend is social media.
You don't have to go and create a report for me. I was just wanting some kind of ballpark. It's mostly social media is where we're spending the bulk of our money.
Yes, as far as tourism, yes.
And what about the billboards? Do you think we're going to continue with that? Were they effective in your mind?
You know, the billboards, like I said, both of the times we've done billboards, it's because we have had money coming from a different source. So I wouldn't anticipate continuing billboards until we have some other, I think there are some other priorities as far as tourism, like with our RFQ, building up our website and things. Maybe a better spend of our money at this point than going to the billboards. But you know, that's kind of what I anticipate. But you know, I don't know about where additional funding might come. You know, I don't know if 2021, if COVID continues, if another CARES Act DMO program may spring up. I don't know the answer to that. But it's always been, those large spends have always come from an additional source of funds.
Okay, thank you, Karen. I appreciate again the job that you're all doing. Thank you.
I'd like to add one comment. You know what, just to back up what Karen said, I think our biggest spend for the town budget will be on this contract with the consultant that we pick here in the future, because we know that our current website is a microsite. It's a Wix site. It was great to get started. It was very cheap. But we know that we've hit pretty much the limit. It doesn't do a lot of things that we need it to do. And it's been a constant, not terrible complaint, but a complaint that there are a lot of things it's missing. So our next step with this consultant is to ask the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to approve a contract for website development, which will come with a little bit of research involved in it and some other things, but that's going to be a big step for us so that we can move to something like WordPress, which is a better platform and will allow us to grow it as we can afford to do that.
Did anyone else have any questions?
Is that website development request for funds going to be something that we deal with on our March 16th meeting, Sue?
No, we've had this small subcommittee that you all are represented in, and we actually hope to have a contract that will go to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in February. We'd like to get started before your March meeting, but you're represented through Wendy on this decision.
And Karen, you also mentioned the monies that we will be getting reimbursed for. Do you have any idea when those monies expect to be dispersed and back into this campaign and this for the COVID monies that you were talking about?
Kim Bumpus is hoping it would be within the next week or two.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
this is Alderman Pinchuk. We've already spent that money. We're just being reimbursed. We're not going to be able to
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand though that we were able to do a lot of things we would have done anyway, but much expanded because of the CARES Act money. Because ultimately it was about 76,000, give or take, Karen.
Yes.
Because 60 some will come back to us because we spent it, and another 14,000 and change went to video and advertising within the Visit Farragut contract. And I have to say, just like Karen did, another thank you to Visit Knoxville. Kim Bumpus made sure that we got every single cent of our money spent on Farragut related advertising, and that was awesome. So they were extremely helpful. But 70 some $1,000 was awesome, and it had to be spent within a lot of rules and regulations. And we do appreciate the Public Works, all the work they went into it, Parks and Rec staff, and then Karen's time was really very busy during this whole campaign because a lot had to happen in a little bit of time, and she made it happen, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I will say Christmas is no longer my favorite holiday.
Well, we appreciate all of your hard work, Karen. It sounds like now you can rest for a minute anyway.
Yeah, bring on the 4th of July parade.
Okay, well, we appreciate that report. Does anybody else have any questions for Karen or for anybody else before we move on to any other business that needs to be discussed? Okay, so it sounds like nobody has any other business that they would like to bring about at our tourism meeting today. So I have our next meeting date at 8:15 a.m. on March 16th. We're not sure if it's going to be virtual or if it will be in person, and I'm assuming Karen will keep us updated with all of that. If there are no more questions or any other issues, somebody want a motion to adjourn the meeting? Or do you want me to just call the meeting adjourned?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your time this morning. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.